Welcome to the park, the Montego Bay Marine Park.
You have different types of parks. Like you have the recreational parks, you might have a historical park like Emancipation Park, or you might have a marine park. So although recreational activities do take place in the park, because people like to swim, dive, boat, go to the beach, there are restaurants and hotels within the park, the cruise ship pier, and so forth. We have to protect what's within the park.
Welcome to Montego Bay, gateway to the tropical paradise called Jamaica. Montego Bay, a city that welcomes more than 2 million visitors annually. The importance of tourism as an industry and agent for development in the Caribbean cannot be overemphasized. For Jamaica, it is a significant source of much needed foreign currency. For others, it is a primary source. Inasmuch as they preach otherwise, the islands of the Caribbean are renowned for their offerings of sea and sand, with cuisine and cultural exchange of lesser importance. It is in recognition of this importance that throughout the Caribbean in the last few decades, the stewards of environmental conservation have seen it fit to develop the concept of protected marine sanctuaries or marine parks.
The park started in '91 and then went through years where funding would come and go. And then about 7 years ago, a group of us came together because the park had really pretty much fallen apart. Funding, management, everything. And over the last 7 years, we've been able to build an incredible team led by Hugh Shim, our manager. And we have great rangers. Our boats are all working, we have educational programs, and what we're really needing though is a government vision to really look after the marine life as it relates to pots, nets, size limits with fish, to take this park into the future.
The Montego Bay Marine Park is operated by a trust, the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust, whose mandate is to maintain the best possible standard of environmental healthiness by education and enforcement. The manager of the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust, Mr. Hugh Shim, speaks on the mandate of the trust and the major problems facing the institution.
The Montego Bay Marine Park really stretches from what we call Rumbattle Bay, which is on the outskirts of the Great River by Hanover, and it follows the coastline at about say 200 to 300 feet along the contour, and it goes all the way out to Tropical Beach, White House, and it's 15.3 square kilometers, and everything beneath it, because all the corals are the beaches on the shoreline, sandy bottoms, the mangroves, everything in the park is part of the park. Yes, so we're like the police of the park, but I prefer to use the word the guardians or the stewards of the park, because we're actually, our role is to care and protect and preserve the park. And by doing that, we have to regulate fishing in the no fishing zones, for example, and the use of the park by recreational users, like boats going up and down, jet skis going up and down, people swimming. So we have swimming zones and so forth that we have to regulate. We are also concentrating on things that come into the park from off the land, meaning the gullies and the rivers, all that pollution that comes in. We actually try to stem that by using mostly education, by letting people know the harmful effects of littering and poor solid waste management. In other words, garbage disposal. So we police, but we're also the healthcare workers for the park. Thankfully, we have a lot of persons, or enough persons that would come in and help us from time to time, meaning volunteers, students who want to do papers and so forth. So we get a little help from them.
Hello, my name is Chizoma Knight. I am a recipient of the Governor General Scholarship for Excellence, the SOS competition. I attend the Caribbean Maritime Institute, and I am a volunteer of the Montego Bay Marine Park.
I'm the science officer at the Montego Bay Marine Park, and I'm Sharon the Forester.
Hi guys, I'm Brad. I'm the senior ranger at the Montego Bay Marine Park.
Hello, my name is Joshua Bailey. I'm the Outreach and Education Officer here at the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust.
Through the will of God and the help of the Montego Bay Marine Park, I received the Governor General Scholarship for Excellence, and this was through volunteering. So I volunteered for a period from June to August, and it's a summer of service, so you have to dedicate your summer to just volunteering.
So my job here at the Marine Park is to carry out scientific monitoring of the Marine Park area from Great River all the way up to Tropical Beach. Within these areas, I will survey the mangroves, the coral reefs, and the seagrass bed. I will track for pollution and growth of the coral reefs and the overall biodiversity of the area. Based on research done in 2015, we found out that only 16% of the park area is covered with live coral. This is significantly low for a protected area. However, with enforcement and public education, we hope to improve this percent up to about 20% this year. So annually, we'll monitor these three key environments: the mangrove, the seagrass, and the coral reef. And from this, we'll draw conclusions where enforcement is needed and where public education is needed for the betterment of the park.
Among the enforcement issues are illegal fishing in the sanctuary. A ranger has this to say.
My role here is to organize and execute enforcement-related activities such as joint patrols with the JHCF, inspections of the fishing villages, regular patrolling with the rest of the rangers. Also, we deal with resource management such as moorings, demarcations, channel markers. So we install and maintain all of these. During my time here at the Montego Bay Marine Park, it has been a real fight to get the fishermen to comply with the regulations within the park and within the conservation areas. However, over time I'm starting to see some of them come around and realizing that we're actually trying to work with them towards making their livelihood better.
Well, the fishing, anana, we catch a little now. The next time again we don't catch none till the next period of time again. Then we come like season. But we need more than that. We need bigger boats to go. I can carry and give the place a rest.
Due to the setup of the park, we have problems outside of fishing. Example, water sports related activities where we have different water sports operators anchoring their vessels in the reefs, damaging it. We have them taking up conch, which is illegal to do in a marine park, and selling it to tourists. So it's a real fight here, but we do our job same way.
My name is Peter Campbell, a senior captain within the Dreamer Catamaran fleet. We have been improving. I would love to get better. Main thing that will help us to get better, 2 booms at the North Gully mouth as well as the Montego Bay River mouth to prevent the garbage from entering our marine park. Also to educate the new players that are entering the water sports industry about the importance of our reef, and as well we need more moorings.
So the way how we interact with the public, we have various what we call outreach programs. One of them is the Care and Protect Jamaica program we call CPJ. And what we do, we actually go into schools, go to the assembly or devotion as some of us know, and we do a presentation on the work of the park and the different things that we do in the park, and why pollution hurts the park, and we cover topics like that. And then there are some selected students. Well, this year is like 100 students from 3 different high schools, and they would come like the science students or the CXC students that do biology or geography. they would actually come down to the park office and get another presentation, more in-depth on coral reefs, mangroves and pollution and so forth. Then we take them out on a glass and do a tour so they can actually see what's underneath and what the reefs look like, what the fish, what kind of fish are down there, and have a look at the gullies that come into the park also, as well as the recreational activities that we do.
So we're here at World Wetlands Day at the Montego Bay Marine Park. We're cleaning up along South Gully, and the aim is to provide mangroves for the seaside because mangroves serve as a protection for the coastline, reduce erosion along the beach, provide habitat for birds and many fishes. This is a yearly event, but throughout the year we have a lot of beach cleanups and activities from the Montego Bay Marine Park and other societies.
Alright guys, welcome to the 2016 edition of our mangrove replanting. This is the third year that we've been doing this in a row, and I'd like to thank the cleanup Montego Bay team, the Montego Bay Marine Park, Sunscape Resort, Half Moon Resort, and Rotary and a lot of our other continued supporting organizations. Now today what we're going to do, we've changed our site. The last two mangrove replantings were done in sand along the bay of the Montego, or the estuary of the Montego River. Today we're going to be doing it along beside some man-made estuaries, which is in South Gully and the Railway Gully. And what we're doing now, we're going to be planting along the groins. Now it's a very tricky thing, that's why we're going to only ask children above 15 and adults to do it. When you're scaling down onto the groin, make sure that you always try to keep 3 points of contact so that we don't fall, which is 2 legs and a hand. Alright?
And of course we have the big cleanup, which is the International Coastal Cleanup taking place in September. That is the biggest event for the year, it comes down to coastal cleanup. Today we planted about 50 mangroves, and then we cleaned up along the area, and now we're going to weigh the garbage.
Other outreach programs, we actually have like coastal cleanup days, earth days and so forth, which we speak about. Earth Day, like we do like mostly beach cleanup, or we might plant something. This year actually we're going to be having booths at some different areas where we'll be promoting the reduction of the use of styrofoam boxes and styrofoam containers.
Alright, hello, today we're at Sam Sharp Square celebrating Earth Day. Today is April 23. April 22 is usually when people celebrate Earth Day, but because we wanted to get volunteers to come out for our event, we do it on a Saturday. And today we coordinated 3 events. We planted 6 garbage drums between the Old Hospital site and on St. James Street. We set up booths at Old Hospital, St. James Street and Fairview to solicit signatures in support of a ban on styrofoam. And we also helped the Montego Bay campaign by cleaning up the Old Hospital beach and coordinating a best green space competition. This was coordinated with the help and sponsorship of the Australian High Commission, the Reef Ecology, the Rotary and Rotarac, the Rose Hall Developments, Caribbean Producers Jamaica, Montego Bay campaign, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. We're also assisted technically with the help from St. James Parish Council and the National Solid Waste Agency. Now this big initiative is really ultimately to get more people involved and to do land-based activities that can help us to save our coral reefs. And this is why we're using this day, Earth Day, to promote and launch our new project, our campaign called the Reef Guardians Project, Stewards of Creation.
We're here to promote the recycling project that we have up for this year. So it is in conjunction with the Marine Park. We'll be putting around recycle bins all over Montego Bay so that we can have persons start depositing their bottles there, and then we'll have it picked up and taken to Greenwood where they'll do the crushing and transport those outside of Jamaica.
Hi everybody, it's Earth Day today and we're here picking up styrofoam boxes on the beaches as well as getting others to sign the petition to ban styrofoam in this country.
Natasha Parchment Clark from the beautiful city of Montego Bay, and today we have a fabulous event partnered with the Montego Bay Marine Park for Earth Day 2016. We've had 4 high schools in Montego Bay from the Interact Club, which are sponsor clubs of Rotary International, and they came and did 4 beautification spots where we had plants donated from Rose Hall Development, and they spent an hour each being really creative, and that was part of our overall campaign to keep our city beautiful. We do a beach cleanup on Earth Day in April and again in September, International Coastal Cleanup Day. And the schools always come out and support. We have over 89 students here today, which is great. And we collected 43 bags of garbage. So we're really on our way to cleaning up this beautiful city.
We came here because service about self, we want to make environments healthier and a lot more beautiful. So we came here to bring it alive and start a fire. Thank you.
As an institution, the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust has a triad of issues to overcome. The effects of climate change, the effects of anthropogenic uncaring humans, and the byproducts of unmitigated industrial and commercial development. To properly alleviate the problems, the Montego Bay Marine Park Trust has embarked on the education of the youth in the hope that behavior modification at an early age will usher in a new generation of caring individuals. Part of this thrust is a summer camp program which is in its 4th year.
Let's go back to the big map. Now within Montego Bay we have 3 major zones. From Apostle, which is about right here, all the way up to Tropical Beach, is the Montego Bay Point Special Fisheries Conservation Area. Today is our 2nd day of the 2nd week of the Montego Bay Marine Park Annual Summer Camp. This is our 3rd year running where we cater towards kids coming from the White House Fishing Village, the SOS Children's Home, as well as the Robin's Nest Children's Home and Children of Water Sports Operators. Today we're doing what you're seeing now currently is the arts and crafts section where we're trying to encourage them to create craft items and various other utilitarian items from refuse. So we're using old newspapers as well as old plastic bottles, old cartridge papers and various other different implements to create masks, to create decorative items as well as to create pencil holders and pen case holders. Alright, so the kids are having a bunch of fun making a lot of mess. They just finished doing their athletics where we did a maths race, various other different kinds of races.
All kids, please listen to me. Over here, right now. Right now.
No wet bag, no dear.
Behind you. Behind you. No. Yellow team. Yellow team behind me right now. Blue team in front of me.
Every September we coordinate a really massive project where we bring everybody together in Montego Bay and do what we dub the Montego Bay Cleanup. This initiative is sponsored by the Ocean Conservancy Group, by in part locally by the Jamaica Environment Trust. And we partner with them amongst many other local NGOs and community groups to coordinate this lovely initiative. Now, what this is really about is to get people on our coastlines, whether they be rocky shores, stony beaches, or beautiful white sand beaches, to try and remove some of the marine litter that is affecting our coastline. Here in Montego Bay, what we've been able to do for the past 2 years, and hopefully for next year as well, is to coordinate multiple sites that are being cleaned up by numerous stakeholders. So for the last 2 years, we've had the Rotaract involved, the Kiwanis, the Lions Club, Sandals, Secrets, and numerous other players from the private as well as from the public sector.
From the Montego Bay Main Road, because it's going into a residential area and from a commercial area, and it's quite horrific.
Beach clean up! ICC! ICC! Beach clean up! Beach clean up! Guys, on behalf of the Montego Bay Marine Park, Rotaract, Interact, and everybody in Montego Bay, thank you very much! Team Obey!
We also have other programs that we're attempting now to get into for corporate sponsorship, as well as have cooperation, meaning people that work in banks and other institutions to actually come on board, and we take them out on the boat and we show them what's going on, like partners on such partners.
Another aspect of the information and education program is the development of characters and implementation of an environmentally based story that will yield a comic book, a coloring book, and an animated video to spread the message to a variety of age groups.
Ryan, doesn't this remind you of the day we first found the garbage patch?
Yeah, it does. Only this time, it won't be an accident. I wonder what Montego Bay is like.
Heard Jamaica is like a paradise. Guess we will just have to see what it is like when we get there. Looks like we're there. Wait, I see a sign. Welcome to Montego Bay. Yeah, this is it. Woo! Jamaica's paradise!
Doesn't look like paradise to me.
Yeah, so this is where the garbage trail was leading from. So I guess we should check out the land and see what's causing all this then, right?
Another approach is direct intervention, as in the case of the boom and other projects. Montego Bay has a unique challenge. Because of its large population, it is fragile and susceptible to damage by volume alone, much less the twin threats of tourism and commercial development. It is against this background that the Trust has a formidable but manageable task. According to Trust Chairman Blaise Hart,
what I try to tell people often is, if you have a chicken farm, you don't kill the small chickens before they become chickens to lay again. Or if you have cows, you don't kill the calves before they become cows where they can have calves again. But because the marine life is a shared environment, it's a first come, first serve. So unless you have the laws with size limits, the cycle will just be one of destruction, basically. So what we need is leadership to ensure that there are size limits so that the fish can breed and create growth for everybody. You know, if for example, we see somebody who's walking on the street next to the park with baby fish, we can't touch him. He's gotten out of the park and he's able to walk with baby fish on the road and he's free. So if we had the ability to say, wait a minute, those fish are too young to be taken, then it would actually suit him, because you know his friends couldn't take it either and everybody would have to wait until he had a big fish. Well, we're aware of the North Gully and all the garbage that's collected in it and what comes down. I'm not a marine biologist, but it's plain to see you have algae growth and that smothers the reef and stops the growth. So adding garbage to the marine life is not where we want to head. It would take a tremendous amount to fulfill the needs of the park. It would take a government that wants to look after marine life all over the island. You can't take a small area like the park and think you're going to solve everything. It needs to be a much broader vision, and it really needs people to sit in a room and want to solve the problem. But in the meantime, we'll protect the area that we have as best as we can.
the Trust is supported in various ways, none of them sufficient. It relies on donations, grants, and fundraising. As a result, the single act that will most impact on the success of the trust would be a contribution in kind or currency to help achieve the mandate. Secondly, personal involvement in the process. And thirdly, the engagement of your neighbors in the community.